It's time for Normalville. It's time for Normalville. It's time for Normalville. Gonna get a little crazy like you know we will.
Hey everyone, good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever time you're watching this, we don't know, and welcome to the Abnormal Hour, episode number 14. I am your host, Alex Rennie, with my partner,
Right, Gillibrand. Hey.
And as always, we start with a blast from the past, which is last week's whiteboard.
Let's go.
Hey guys, so welcome to last week's whiteboard. And Frank and I were just saying, we were wondering how we had gotten to this point. And funny enough, it was because I had done the joke of the day, and Frank said in France it would be joke du jour. So we said it as if we had the French accent, which somehow led to this.
That is our strange minds. We have French accent. Of course, we have to go zombies and a restaurant.
And we decided it'd be funny because, you know, what do zombies eat? Brains. So it'd be brain soup, brain salad, brain anything.
Brain stir fry. It's Shay Zombie.
So this was the whiteboard for the Shay Zombie with the brain. And then here was our final result, which came out really good, I think.
No hater. Today's special, brain soup, brain salad, brain stuffed tacos, and dessert, brain pudding.
Brain pudding.
Brain pudding.
That is awesome, Frank. Great.
They're probably sitting at the table, brain pudding, brain pudding, brain pudding.
Brain pudding. I gotta say, this was one of the more fun ones I ever drew. My wife saw it in the coloring stage, and she had no idea what we were just like, I don't even want to ask. I was trying to get like blood spatter and mud and what would zombies be doing?
Yeah, I mean, you were wondering about saliva, but we can't do saliva because they have no bodily fluid.
They're drying out. They're deteriorating. But they're like any zombie. I did some homework looking at, zombie pictures. Yeah, they don't do laundry anymore. They've crawled out of the graves. Everything is just tattered, dirty, nasty. Can you imagine how bad a zombie would smell if you actually came across
I was
them?
wondering about the breath.
Oh, just awful. Anyway, this was our final result. Today's special, the zombie restaurant. I think it's a winner. I like it a lot.
It is. It's awesome. Welcome back, folks. And now we go to our news break. Okay, Alex, what do you got in the news today?
So, the residents of Asbestos, Quebec have selected a new name. Face like, oh no. Going forward, the town will be known as Val de Sources, Valley of the Springs, rather than the name of the carcinogenic mineral mined in the town until 2011. The area was home to Jeffrey Mine, one of the largest crystallite asbestos mine in the world, and the town grew up around it. According to historian Jessica Van Horzen, the town got its name when the Royal Mail simply started calling the town after the mineral. Asbestos is naturally occurring, once widely used for insulation, but the fibers can be toxic if inhaled, increasing lung disease. And I remember as a kid, school had shut down right when it was supposed to open for a good 2 or 3 weeks as they were removing asbestos. They had just kind of learned about it, right? The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency had banned certain uses of asbestos since 1973. And the ban on asbestos-containing products went into effect in Canada. Can you guess when?
Early 80s.
2018.
Shut up.
I'm telling you, man.
What?
Yeah, 2 years ago, it officially is like, nope, no
So
more.
in 2017, you could put asbestos in anything you wanted?
According to this news story that didn't go
Wow.
until 2 years
We
ago.
missed out. We could have had something going on.
So once upon a time, we've been very proud of that name, but now it's very difficult because asbestos means fiber that people are afraid of, said the town's mayor. The name is officially changed, or will officially change this coming December. So
I guess they have a lot of springs going on there then?
I'd never even heard of this until now, but Asbestos Quebec.
Asbestos Quebec. Sounds kind
No
of like
longer after next year. Crazy.
Wow.
So Frank, share with us your news story.
Okay, this comes from the States again. An Idaho Falls man is in hot water for trying to cook 2 chickens in the Yellowstone Hot Springs Park.
I heard about this. I heard this on the radio.
Yeah, a park ranger received a tip that someone was hiking in the park with cooking pots and a strangely shaped burlap sack. By the time he found them, the guy was cooking the chickens surrounded by his group of 10 people. So he was fined $600 for foot travel in a thermal area and banned from the park for 2 years.
Wow.
And this was not the first time that someone was caught cooking chickens in the park. Believe it or not, in 2001, a Seattle TV host and his producer were caught doing the same thing for a spot on the show. They thought it'd be cool. Well, the park ranger did not think so. They were fined and banned as well.
Wow. I actually did hear that story on the news this week when I was on the bus driving the bus. So,
and you know, they have the rules for a good reason. There's more than 20 people have been killed by straying into the hot springs areas. And, you know, trip, fall, burn, done. Right?
I mean, plus, like you said, I mean, isn't there geysers that happen in the hot springs?
Yeah.
Like you get hit with that while you're cooking your chicken.
You will die.
Yeah, scalding hot water, man. You don't play around. Just heat it up at home. It's not that hard.
Well, I don't know. I guess it's the experience, right? Maybe it tastes different. I don't know.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. And it's crazy that it actually happened before too, right? Like,
yeah.
That's, I would have not thought that this is a, common occurrence in the hot springs. Where was that again?
In Yellowstone National Park.
Yellowstone. Jeez.
And strangely enough, the bears, there's bears all over the place in that park. They know where the springs are. They never get burnt.
Right.
They're wise enough.
Man. People are stupid, man. This is
generally speaking. Yeah.
Crazy.
If there's a hole, somebody's going to fall in it. Guaranteed.
I think there's a cartoon there, which is great because this takes us now to our next segment, our very first whiteboard of the day. All right, everybody, welcome to whiteboard number 1. And Frank and I, after Frank's story and what he said, if there's a hole, someone will fall in it. I think that is just like, it's an are you kidding me moment, which is what we were just talking about before.
It's like one of those sayings, if there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. If there's a hole, someone will fall in it.
That is freaking brilliant, dude. I've never heard that, but I just like, are you kidding me moment.
Yeah, it's are you kidding? How in the world?
And just to get it started, I'm already going to put like some kind of legs there, like, someone's in there. They're like looking down, like. But I mean, it could go anywhere, right? Literally, this
Yeah.
could be anything. But at least this gets us started with, "Are you kidding me?" It's like a huge pasture.
What if there's a sign? It's wintertime. Don't stick your tongue to this post. There's already, it's like a fly catcher, and there's already 5 of them stuck there. And yet another one comes and sticks his tongue in there. That's good. We need a twist to it. We need a...
What if it was the animals doing it to catch the humans or something, right?
Oh, if it's the bear, this is how I catch my, this is my fall harvest. He sticks out posts and people stick their tongues on them when they're stuck.
It's just so absurd it might work. I don't.
Yeah, it's not bad. So yeah, bears catching hunters, metal posts, they stick their tongues to it. Okay, folks, get ready. Alex is going to bring you his super expert advice on what do you got?
Cartooning and technology.
Nice technology.
And now, expert advice from the expert.
I mean, it's interestingly, a couple of episodes ago when we had Stu on there, we talked about how old school cartoonists, it was literally cut paste. You know, they would draw everything on the paper, and then it had to be, you know, nothing was digital back then. When you think of Calvin and Hobbes, The Far Side, right? It was all hand drawn, whiteout. It was a much, I think, tedious and tougher process than we have today, because with the advent of Photoshop, everything digital, it's so much simpler, so much easier. Even the whiteboard we were doing on Zoom is a heck of a lot easier, right? So what I always did in the old time is I had a Wacom tablet. I've had a Wacom tablet forever. This is my older one. I even have an older one that's purple. When I used to do digital retouching and advertising, you do it on a Wacom. It's basically an electronic drawing pad, right? And it gives you a lot more, this gives you a lot more accuracy on the electric pad versus using your mouse. Now, when we started doing Abnormalville, I was still doing it in a different way than I do it now. I had my old school sketch pad, and what I would do is I'd, you know, measure out 2 different panels, because it's not to waste paper, and then I would do cartoons in the style of our single panel cartoons, and I would draw them, ink them on a drawing board. It's a foldable drawing board. I would put that on my desk. And then I didn't even have a proper scanner. I would put it outside for good lighting, and I'd take a photo of it with my phone.
Wow.
Import that into Photoshop, and then using the Wacom tablet, you know, do all the finishing touches. But what my family did as a surprise, my wife recently upgraded her computer. And so she got a new computer, and Dade, my stepson, he got some new components for his. And I just was fine. I didn't think I needed anything, but they got me a newer Wacom tablet that you can actually draw with a pen and ink it on the spot. So I actually use an ink pen, and I have the sketch done, and then I just draw it out. And as I draw it out with an actual ink pen versus a digital pen, Wacom has a new software that puts it straight onto the computer. So all these like really fine lines that you get when you ink, this was our recent cartoon with the zombies, show up on your computer screen. skips the whole inking process. Well, it is the inking process, but instead of, you know, inking, taking a photo, scanning it in, it is now going directly on there. So now your ink layer is done, and it saves it, and you can save it in different formats, a JPEG, PDF, but what I save it in is a PNG because that gives it a clear background. And now you just have the black lines that you can now go back in and colorize on the Wacom tablet itself. Technology, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is the step I use for our cartoons.
When you're not tied down by lack of technology, it allows for more creativity.
Yeah.
Right?
And there are old school people out there who will do it the old way because, hey, man, that's the way. And this is still old school to a degree. It's a pencil rendering followed by a pen rendering. There you go. I don't know really what kind of advice I'm giving you other than technology is good. Invest in a Wacom tablet if you're a cartoonist or an artist. It really does help you. And especially the new ones. Like I said, this is the coolest thing ever. I was pleasantly surprised, shocked, didn't even know they had that capability out. And my son and my wife were just like, we got to get that for Alex in Abnormalville. So really cool stuff.
Right on. Okay, thanks for that super expert advice, Alex. And we're going to transition to our next segment, Joke of the Day.
So Frank, what do you call the security guards that work at the Samsung office?
I don't know.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that's close to needing a French accent.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so
You're just like, man, that was a...
and moving on. Okay, thanks for that awesome joke. So now we're going to go to our next whiteboard.
Whiteboard number 2, everyone.
Board number 2. We don't even need a French accent. This is
Stupid people. Just
stupid people.
stupid people.
Stupid.
Hey guys, this is a first. We have 0 ideas. We racked our brains for 40 plus minutes with no ideas coming.
Struck out. Yeah, could not get nothing from it.
I mean, I should say, let's rephrase that. Plenty of ideas, nothing quite hit the mark. We missed the bullseye, but yeah, so we're going to come back to that and probably circle back to this original idea in next week's episode. We decided we're going to walk away from this completely.
So this is our first whiteboard abort.
So this is going to take us to Frank's Did You Know, which hopefully inspires something.
Yes.
At which time we'll maybe go back to whiteboard number 2 after that. But hey, with that, Frank, let's do a Did You Know, and hopefully you inspire us to do our next whiteboard number 2.
Let's do it.
know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know?
Okay, here we are with today's Did You Know? Concerning Leonardo da Vinci, who has like 1 million amazing facts about him. But this is something I bet you didn't know.
He was great, man.
And this is long and drawn out, but I'm going to get to it, so hang on. So the key to Mona Lisa's smile could be due to something known as quick eye. Have you never heard of that? I know you didn't.
No.
It's a somewhat of a superhuman trait that is not uncommon in today's elite athlete. So in scientific terms, it would be called flicker fusion frequency, triple F. It's similar to film's frames per second, that type of thing. So it's the ability to see more frames per second than the average person. So an example would be Ted Williams, the great baseball player. He said he could see the stitching on the baseball as it's coming. So he would see what rotation the ball is doing and adjust his swing to hit that ball in the park. So he had more frames per second that he could see, and he would just watch it slow motion coming in. I know what that pitch is, hit it out of the park, right? So we know Leonardo had this because he's the first person to observe that in flight, a dragonfly's wings are out of sync.
Oh, wow.
He's watching the dragonflies. Wow, look at that. So he had quick eye. So you might ask, what does a dragonfly's wings have to do with Mona Lisa's smile?
So, Frank, what does dragonfly's wings have to do with Mona Lisa's smile?
I'm glad you asked.
Here to help.
Because of his unique vision, he would capture things differently than other artists. That's what kind of part of his talent came from, as he would see things differently. So the theory is that he caught Mona Lisa's smile before she was in full smile. This was the transition to a full smile. So that's why it's half of a smile. That's why it's on the way to a full smile. And that is the theory behind Mona Lisa's smile, due to Leonardo's quick eye.
I don't know that I buy that, because if she was an actual model, they didn't have freeze frame photography back then. It's not like, do you know what I mean? Like, he was sitting there painting it, so
He would paint what's in his mind as well. You bet. Or was it the fact that she had such horrible teeth?
you know, like I think there was a commercial about that. We're trying.
Yeah, so maybe it's the case of she did the full smile and you went, nope. Let's go back.
Yeah, it's an interesting theory and a great thing to learn about. Thank you. I just personally, I don't buy that, because he's sitting there drawing the muse. So it's not like in that moment he caught the flicker of a smile. It's at some point he's, you know what I mean? Like,
I believe it. I think he captured just a different point of the smile.
Frank, so I want to thank you for today's Did You Know? And to our viewing audience out there, Frank and I just took another, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes racking our brain, but we did come up with what we think is a very stellar idea.
It's got a lot of potential. It does.
It's got potential.
Yeah.
And this day being what it is, and everything being slightly askew, we're not going to whiteboard it. We're just going to unveil it.
Take that.
Well, we're not trying to punish our audience. We're just letting them know we just want to unveil it next week for you. And just go with, we have the idea written down here. I'm not going to let you see what that was.
No, he's not faking it. There is something there.
There's actually writing here. There's something there. We came up with an idea, but you'll just have to wait and see what the final cartoon is. So
sure, we're gonna roll with that.
We're gonna roll with that. This has been a crazy day, guys. Literally, just so you know, we started this podcast I'm looking at the clock just over like 2 hours and 20 minutes ago. Frank and I have been going back and forth. This has never happened. We've never hit that kind of level of writer's block, creator's block ever. Even Ken says, thank you very much for it. Yeah.
Okay. So that's that.
We're just going to go. Sayonara, my friends. Same bat time, same bat channel. We will see you next week.
Yeah, let's call it. That's it. We're done.
And now we're leaving. We gotta go. And now we're leaving. It's the end of our show. We had a good time. It's come to an end. We hope you had a good time. A good time, my friend. And now we're leaving. That's the end of our show. And now we're leaving. We gotta go.